Good afternoon on what is a mild, grey and cloudy day. It is Thursday, June the 13th, and I'm in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a big box to unbox. This is the Revenant City, an endless loop beneath the city by Banana Chan and Sen-Foong Lim. Banana Chan being best known as the co-author of Jiangxi, which is the role-playing game about being immigrants, running a Chinese restaurant in the 1920s and having to face the horrors of Chinese monsters by night and xenophobia and prejudice by day. This is published by Ryder Games, a publisher that doesn't do role-play games per se, best known for the Hostage Negotiator and Final Girl series of board games. So, the Revenant Society, the endless loop beneath the city, is a role-playing game for 2 to 4 players, acting as the Revenants, and one Fate Weaver, or Game Master, leading the story. Starting in either the 1910s, Paris, or 1920s, New York, Revenants work together to navigate the thin veil between themselves and the living, unravel the mystery of why they haven't moved on, and prevent the shattering event from happening. If they do not solve the mystery before it happens, they will start the time loop again. So, you have essentially the effect of a Groundhog Day there. Resetting the clock may be helpful because the details of the Revenants' lives are hazy, and each time they jump back to the beginning, they remember more. Revenants use time and moves to hunt down leads in the form of memories that emerge from their rotting synapses. Those memories help create the non-playable characters that will give them the clues as to what happened to them. But there is danger. Watchers, malevolent undead beings trapped between life and limbo, will try to prevent the Revenants from succeeding, fail too many times, and they will stuck in a loop forever, doomed to repeat those same events with no hope of eternal rest. The afterlife is only the beginning. In addition to the core book, the deluxe edition adds tokens, 6 playbooks, a Fate Weaver screen, the map of intrigue, the loop board, maps of New York City and Paris, the deck of memory cards, X and O cards, 6 dice, a team miniature, and 4 watcher miniatures, which is quite a big package. Really pleased to get hold of this. I wasn't expecting anything, to be fair, from Ryder Games when I was at UK Games Expo. I was going to have a look. I only had a very peripheral look and noticed this, and the organisers were very generous in giving me a copy to unbox and review. So let's find out what is in this very sturdy box. Plastic off. So there you can see everything there on the back cover. That looks quite impressive. When we open up the box, and you can see just how heavy that is. It does weigh quite a bit. Now we get the box lid off, and the first thing you see is that. So you've got the map. Of course, this is going to be of Manhattan, New York, and on the other side we've got a map of Paris, the City of Light. And then underneath that we have this, which is the core book. I'm going to have a look at that in a minute. Go and see what else is in the book. And that's quite a chunky book. We also have screen. There we go. I'll show you what's on the other side. Folded that up wrong. Let's try putting it down like that. That's better. Then we have map of intrigue. So draw lines where necessary to keep track of NPCs. So you've got trackers there. A mini campaign loop setting things up. A one-shot loop, so the game is variable in how long you can play it for. You've got the character card, so there's the Grizzled, the Compassionate. So these are the character cards, and these aren't so much cards as basically character boards. That's the philosophical. Why I can't say that, I don't know. The diplomatic, and you see this, each have got a nice little illustration in on the back. The hopeful, I like that. So the hopeful's got her arms spread wide like that. That's a joy there. And then the glamorous. So you've got those boards as well. So you're getting quite a lot in this deluxe set. You have a set of 6-sided dice. There's 6 of those, nice black and gold colour, very Art Deco, very suitable for the period. Right on, wipe off pens. You basically got some extra Ziploc bags. You've got cards. I'm going to open those and see what we've got in there. Where's the knife gone? Have I covered it up? Yes, I have. So I'm quite impressed by what I'm seeing in here so far, and I've not even looked at the book. So is that enough for me to grab? See, I was just having so much trouble trying to get into these things. Right, now that's progress. Put the plastic away. So we've got these rather, these are photographs and prompts, I suppose, that are going to come up in play as NPCs and memories. That's a nice touch, you know, and the thing is, there's nothing on the back, so you are just looking at these and saying, what does that tell you about your character? How do they, impact upon your memory? And it's not just people; it's objects as well. And you've got more specific items, and these are kind of hand drawn or public artwork. And then you've also got X and O cards as promised, and therefore essentially the handling story elements that the players have issues with or want to see more of, depending upon which one they tap. So that's nice to actually include that, I think. You know, most people just make do if they include the X card. You're just getting a piece of paper or an inks X card and just drawing on it a big fat X, and that works. But here you've got one that is in keeping with the setting. So I'm going to bag those up just to make sure they're going to flop around in the clip. And then you've got these tokens as well. And then we're going to put everything back in almost. Look at the dice. Right on, wipe off. Right on, wipe off pens. Another. And we've also got some miniatures. These represent the player characters, so let's have a look at those. And even not got to the book yet. I will show that in a minute. So, you have sort of like kind of a standee there, like almost like a signpost. Just basically, that's going to be sort of like the enemy that's coming towards. Just trying to work out what they are. The watchers, I bet that's going to be like a watcher thing. So you've got multiple watchers. You don't have any of the player characters, as it were, in terms of the miniatures. Let's see whether that's a bit of a pity, I think. But that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that per se. I'm just saying it's a pity there isn't a set of miniatures, to reflect those characters. So let's have a look at this book. Nice cover on it. This is, basically it's not on the box, but you've got that. And inside you've got that map again of Paris. It isn't one at the back, New York, which you kind of feel there should be. And then even to the book, a nice piece of artwork, creepy. Different chapters. Forwards from the authors introducing themselves and the game. Introduction. Nice, bright, big, bold. I say bright, but clear. You know, basically describing what you'll need. Content warnings. You've got QR codes there for print copies of the materials. Description of what a role-playing game is. You know, what is a role-playing game? And then potential settings. So the Belle Epoque for Paris before the Great War, and then the Jazz Age, the Roaring Twenties for New York. An overview of the game, and then we'll give the fact that each of these. I'll show you more detail. So if you look at the characters. So if I have a look at the Grizzled, so we've got his stats, and then the undead moves, experience, and then relationships and so on the back. So what you should get the impression of when I show you that is that I hadn't quite realised it, because it doesn't say anywhere until this point that this is Apocalypse, a PBTA role-playing game. It uses Powered by the Apocalypse. So you've got playbooks, and each of those characters is a playbook, and each of the characters has got different moves. And then we've got a loop board of memories explaining how, overview of what they are. A quick overview of how it plays out. How to set things up. So plan your trip, using the loop board, the map of intrigue, how to handle session 0, choosing between time periods, calibration tools, lines and veils, X card, no card, and open door policy. So it's a very modern, socially aware role-playing game. And then along with that, you've got a clear list of what the responsibilities are as a player, responsibilities are as a game master. Or I'm sorry, game master, Fate Weaver. So representation and playing characters who are not like you. Got a guide to that. And then after death, character and relationship creation. So really building from the given playbooks, and go through them one by one, detailing with so on, and the Revenants, and dealing with the character Greta, and she's the one who's going to sort of act as, I suppose, the Fate Weaver, or an NPC is going to be triggering. I say triggering, but basically prompting the different roles to act. So here we have guides to each of those playbooks, each of these characters, and how to play them. So things like, when things do go by my way, when things don't go my way, and what do I want from Afterlife. So you've got introductions to each of these, giving the basically the Fate Weaver a good introduction to them, and then if you give those out to the players, the same again. So then we look at each of the playbooks. The characters is going to have a backstory and a death, and then we handle things like experience points and undead moves, explanations of the stats, how to create relationships, and so on. And that sets your playbook, your character up to actually play the game. And then we get into Unliving is Suffering, how the game works. So we talk about loop 1, continuing the cycle, loops 2 to 4, so on, entering a loop, what to do during a loop, what to do between loops, and how to handle scenes and conflicts within the loops. So we've got different moves and we've got explanations of what those moves are. So basic moves: investigate, blend in, persuade, and these are all the basic moves are the ones that every character can do. So, and then we move on to, presume we're going to get to the, how to use the dice and how to use the modifiers and so on. And, how to gain rerolls, how to involve the watchers, and basically, and removing them from play, and then reliving today again and again, tracking time loops. So that's breaking. So that's going back and revisiting events, and hopefully learning more of them, tracking the passage of time as you go through the loops. So eventually, hopefully, and you're basically dealing with things like loop event consistency, fixed events. We've got a quick discussion now of the shattering event. It's a fixed event that rewinds the Revenants back to the beginning of the loop. It happens at dawn. The mystery the Revenants must solve revolves around the shattering event. And I've got a look at the culprit. So that's setting things up, and then looking at particular locations that the characters can visit. And then a discussion of essentially how to use those tokens in the bottom of the box. Under construction tokens in the game, players should have access to up to 6 locations on the metro or subway map. All other locations should be marked unavailable using under construction tokens, so players know that basically they don't have access to them. So you don't explore the whole of the map. But here are the discussion of the clues you can find there, and then how to play out the loops, how to draw upon those memory cards, which is what I guess they were, and then you've got essentially team moves, basically wish to destroy everything, burn the city, and take them out, basically creating create a supernatural doorway to limbo, and then perceive threat through the door and not come back again in future loops. And then similarly, whilst the players and their characters have moves, so does the game master, the Fate Weaver, sorry, and these are discussed here. And these include soft moves, which can be positive or negative and so on, and then we get into storytelling, the tale of your death. So that's exploring, giving the character screen time, building on their memories, throwing in items, exploring the city, travelling the city, whether used typically by the underground, encountering non-player characters, mysteries and revelations to be discovered, and remembering your death, and so on, getting to the point where you solve a case. And then the end of the afterlife, what happens then? So how to end a session, ending the game, the afterlife is covered there, and then we get into the final call for Greta. And these are possible events, so things that might be a piece, trapped in a loop, and that might be a game ender cliffhanger, or depending upon the player character actions. And then after that, we've got a post-game debrief. And then a guide to one-shot play. And then we look at the different periods. So we've got Paris, La Belle Epoque, and a guide to the city, its history. Much of this will be familiar with most players, I suppose, but it's always useful to have that information. We've got a guide to the metro station, which obviously will probably be less familiar. So a guide to Paris of the period, different areas. We'll go further forward. So basically different locations around the city, all keyed into the different lines that run throughout Paris on the metro. Then a guide to post-World War I Paris. And then we switch to New York, the Roaring Twenties. So this will likely be more familiar to much of the gaming audience, I would suspect. So here we've got actually a timeline for the New York subway, and then the subway station guides again, similar to that was described for the Paris metro. So just going through each of the locations, what's nearby, what can be found at the station, and then we have the Paris scenario, the Petals of Belladonna. Introduction and objectives. Location specific to the scenario. Culprits, NPCs, and red herrings. So you've got a good overview, which essentially to the scenario, which will play with the other rules, including a list of fixed events leading up to the shattering event. So you've got specific sort of like cases or mysteries you can play through. How to involve your characters, and then sad young man on a train. Again, a second one. So you've got multiple scenarios in here. Just the same thing. Introduction, setup, locations, culprits, NPCs, and red herrings. The shattering event, of course, covered. List of fixed events, and how to involve your characters in that story, including loop clues. And then again another scenario for Paris. This is the Princess Gascou du Cirque, and I'm pronouncing that thoroughly incorrectly. And again, same format. I'm going to flip further forward. But we've got some nice pieces of period art and advertising thrown in. It's giving it and giving that sense of verisimilitude. And there's going to be the same thing for New York. You've got Firebrand. This is going to be politics of the period. So on, introduction to set up locations, and culprit, shattering event, red herrings, and so on. So multiple different scenarios. Spirited Away, another New York scenario, and this is both of those scenarios basically kind of tied into Prohibition. That very famous illustration there of a New York speakeasy. And we've got See You Later, and possibly this is dealing with a whole myth or urban legend of crocodiles in the sewer, or at least on in the underground, in the subway. Some again. And then we've got a guide here to creating your own scenarios. So, basically like how to create an introduction, how to include shattering events, corporates and so on. Build clues and the like. And we've got random tables for creating that as well. And then here at the end, we have the appendix, which has print copies of the playbooks, so 6 of those. So on, you know, so you know, you could basically photocopy those. You've got a list of all the basic moves, and a guide to the Paris Metro. And same again for the New York subway, and that includes basically possible loop events in each of the cities. You've got a mini campaign loop again for reference, and you're basically printing out a map of intrigue to build, and these are all included in the deluxe set on very thick cardboard and so on. And then you've got notes for the Fate Weaver to create her own content. And then at the end, you've got Fate Weaver one-shot sheets. A list of the Fate Weaver moves for reference, and the character introduction presented for easy reference at the back of the book, and so on. Maps, this one of New York, and then the memory cards and so on, reprinted, and additional links to the QR code. So that is the fini. That is, you've got the map of New York on the thing. I'm showing that upside down, sorry. So yeah, that is the Revenant Society. Absolutely terrific looking game, really fantastically, very well produced box set from Ryder Games. Thoroughly impressed by that. That looks fantastic. I would love to play that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing of the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be able to get more unboxings of the Nook, well, see me out here with a box containing a book or game or role-playing game, in this case an actual role-playing game in a box, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, or of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.